Hi everyone, it's Dino, and we have a couple of quick tips for you today. Today I spent some time making my own curry powder because I ran out, and I figured that I could probably do a better job than whatever it is that the store-bought people were doing. Let me turn this down, actually speaking. This is a little high. So what I'm actually doing here is that I'm roasting split and hulled mung beans. They're kind of yellowish in color, and I want them to turn sort of like a light brown. I learned this trick from a lady at the office who does some really good food. She said that she had tried to roast the dal before she cooked it in boiling water. I think she actually washed it first, then roasted it. For me, I don't really bother washing it because I'm about to throw some boiling water on it, and I've got some really high heat on here. And I don't really care if there's a little bit of extra starch in the dal. I actually like that because then it cohedes better. But this right here is some garlic, some curry leaves, some mustard seeds, and maybe like a teaspoon or so of my own curry powder that I made. It's a blend of, let me see what I put in there, I wrote it down. It is coriander, cumin seed, those are both seeds, black mustard seed, sesame seed, black pepper, fenugreek, turmeric, cardamom, clove, fennel, ajwain, nutmeg, red chilies, and curry leaves. So what I did is that I roasted each of those ingredients separately, and then I did a very quick tarka, which is, you throw some oil in a pan, you throw in whatever whole spices you like. I wanted to keep this simple, so all I did was I added some mustard seed and some asafoetida to this. Then I added the curry leaves, and then they popped and did their thing. Then I added, I think that's about a half a head of garlic, because I have a fair bit of dal here for it to take up. So I would say this is maybe a cup and a half of dal, give or take. And I'm going to cook that in 1.5 liters of water. So this is actually coming along. You see how like it's turning from that bright yellow into like that sort of like darker brown. It smells really nutty. It's got a really great smell right now. And what I'm going to do is once this is roasted to my liking, and I think it's almost there to be honest. Once this is roasted to my liking, I'm going to throw some boiling water into it. If you can hear it in the background, I have my electric kettle going. That's probably going to take a couple of minutes. So meanwhile, just let this get a little bit browner. See if you can get close. So you see there's still a fair few of the yellow ones, and I don't want to get them quite as dark brown as those two guys right there. That's a little too dark for my liking. So I turned down the stove from medium on my burner to medium low. I think on like what is this? I would say a 7-8 point scale. It's down to a 2 at the moment. So hopefully this will slow the process of this getting cooked. I don't want this to turn too brown. I don't want it to get blackened. You don't want to do that at home. That dal is very, very hot. It doesn't look very hot, but it is extremely hot. I just wanted to make sure that the heat was still on, that's all. So there we go. I think I'm just about where I'd like it to be. So I'm gonna add my hot water. Oof, excuse me. And the beauty of roasting your dal ahead of time is that it comes up to the boil like almost immediately. So gonna basically fill that up with some water and turn back on the kettle so that it gets me lots of boiling water for in case too much of the water from this guy evaporates. And because I have so much garlic in here, I'm not going to add it at the last minute like I normally do for a tarka. I'm actually going to add it right now so that everything has a chance to cook together and, kind of mellow out a little bit. Because if I had put that much garlic in there and just added it at the end, it would have been a little bit too intense for my liking, and the whole dal would have tasted just like garlic instead of all those wonderful spices that I worked so hard to roast and grind down to a powder and get it to where I'd like it to be. Just rinsing out the bottom of the pot with some of that boiling water that's still in there. Put that in the sink, and then I'm just going to let this come to a full rushing boil. Once it does, I'm going to drop it down to a simmer, let it go for about like 25-30 minutes or so, because I'm looking for the dal to completely break down. And then I will be ready to eat it for dinner tonight. So just wanted to give you a couple of, just a quick update as to a hint as to what to do with your dal so that it gets more flavor into it. The roasting process is not strictly necessary, but it imparts such a lovely taste to the final dish that I think you should try it one of these days. And that curry powder where I roasted my own spices and ground them down, and the rest of it, my entire apartment smells so fragrant with those spices that I got hungry and I decided to make something that I didn't already have in my fridge. Because I did my bulk cooking yesterday, so I do have plenty of stuff in the fridge. It's just the spice smelled so good that I wanted to try something real quick, see how it comes out. So I'm going to, oh yeah, one more thing. Because there is turmeric in that curry powder, you want to make sure that it cooks in oil and you don't add it to a dish just as is. The thing about curry powder, the thing about turmeric and paprika specifically is that you need to cook them in fat so that they get that toasty aroma, so they get that nuttiness, so that it really brings out the flavor. A lot of people seem to think that turmeric and paprika are just there for color. That could not be further from the truth. Reality is that they're also there for flavor, and if you're using them correctly, you don't want them to be that like super duper bright, yellow or super duper bright red. You want them to take on this like almost stock type of color, so that it's like almost like a yellowish brown, like it's golden. And if there were paprika in here, it would be like a reddish brown, like it would look like you cooked it in a lot of stock, and it would smell incredibly nice. And I can attest to that. Once I added the garlic to the pot where I was doing my mustard seeds, I added the curry powder to it, and immediately you could get the fragrances of all those roasted spices, but I could also smell that background of that turmeric really smelling nice. And also one more thing, if you notice that my curry powder is not quite as bright yellow as some of the store-bought ones, it's because I'm using my own spice blend. And for me, I like a lot of coriander seed. I like that to be the dominant spice in my curry powder, because I tend to add a lot of cumin seed, like whole cumin seed, to my cooking. So I don't really need too terribly much of the cumin flavor. I just want a little bit of it in the background. So that coriander seed and, to be honest, the black pepper really do take over the color. They become a darker brown rather than this bright yellow that you would get from the commercially bought curry powders, where they're mainly interested in what it looks like at the final taste, at the final dish, rather than what it really tastes like. So that's the other beauty of making your own spice blends, is that you kind of get to dictate exactly how they are made, what ratios you put in there. Right now I smell like a ton of garlic coming off of this pot, and of course, because I do like salt, I'm gonna add some kosher salt to the dal, and it's gonna take it a minute to come up to a boil. But until next time, I hope you guys try out this roasting of dal situation, and maybe let me know how that goes in the comments, and let me know if you made any of the dishes that I have on my channel. I would love to hear about them. Send me pictures, record your own videos, send me them. I will link it in my own channel. All will be well. Hope you guys are doing well, and we'll catch up with you later. Bye.